हेलो एवरीवन, वेलकम बैक टू दिस चैनल। तो आज की इस वीडियो का टॉपिक होने वाला है 18 सेंचुरी का ब्रिटिश नोबेल का हिस्ट्री। तो अगर आपसे एग्जाम में 18 सेंचुरी के ब्रिटिश नोबेल का हिस्ट्री या 18 सेंचुरी के ब्रिटिश नोबेल का राइज यानी उदय पूछा जाए तो आप इस आंसर को 15 मार्क्स या 20 मार्क्स के लिए लिख सकते हैं। तो चलिए वीडियो को शुरू करते हैं। तो आंसर होने वाला है The rise of British Nobel occurred primarily in the 18th century. The term Nobel derives from the Latin novus and from the Italian novella. It was in opposition to the term romance, referring to a chivalric story in verse. It was used to refer to a prose fiction, which was new because it told stories about recent events. There were many causes which brought to the development of the novel. Expansion of the reading public, growth of a new middle class, different position of women, economic reasons. People who were richer than before could afford buying books, and women had more time for reading because after the Industrial Revolution they had much free time at home. They could buy books, they could buy in shops the products which before were handmade in the houses. Publishing became a profitable business thanks to the spirit of literacy and of reading as a form of entertainment among the wealthy middle class. While the professional writers began to appear, they did not have rich patrons but earned their living by writing essays and books. This new situation, together with the creation of the circulating libraries, which borrowed books in return of a small subscription fee, increased the number of readers, yet the numbers of those who could afford buying books was very small and there was still widespread illiteracy. The masses gained a low salary and books were still very expensive to buy. There was no real public education system, yet poor children had little opportunities to study since they were used as industrial laborers and a huge number of people could neither read nor write. The 18th century novel was labeled as realistic novel where the characters were real people with ordinary names and surnames. They were described in their daily routines. The settings were geographical places and the content were taken from real stories. Unlike the early Augustans, the novelists liked to write about ordinary people acting in real life situations. The novelists tried to meet their middle class readers who wanted to read them about ordinary people because they enjoyed seeing themselves as protagonists of the stories. They were the ones who bought the book, and consequently, the author's point of view was the same as the reader's one. The most important novelists of the time were Daniel Defoe, Jonathan Swift, Samuel Richardson, Henry Fielding, and Lawrence Sterne. Some of them devoted to writing because, as an effect on the Test Act of 1623, being Roman Catholic or dissenter, they were forbidden to hold any important position in society and chose to become novelist or journalist. So the first writer of this period was Daniel Defoe. Daniel Defoe is considered the pioneer of the modern novel and the first novelist in the English literature as well as the first journalist. His The Review is considered the first newspaper. He interpreted the likes and interests of the emerging middle class and depicted the 18th century world. Defoe's character of his novel narrate their individual struggles for survival in a difficult world, from Moll Flanders, a prostitute, thief, and incestuous wife, to Robinson Crusoe, Colonel Jack, Captain Celestine, and Roxana. His novel, The Life and Strange, Surprising Adventures of Robinson Crusoe of York Mariner, is regarded as the first English novel. The novel is a true realistic novel. It is based on the real story of a Scotch sailor Alexander Selkirk, who had lived alone for 4 years on the isle of Juan Fernandez in the Pacific after a shipwreck. The story is told in the first person singular in a form of diary. Robinson Crusoe is a first narrative in which the character is not a hero but an average man. Defoe went on the Puritan ideas that had survived even after the collapsing of the Puritan Republic of the Commonwealth. Robinson, a shipwrecked merchant who remained on a desert island for about 28 years, is considered the true Puritan man. He showed industry, colonizing spirit, courage, and initiative, and was seen by the readers as the personification of their own qualities. Practical minded, resourceful, religious, he organized his life on the island and succeeded through hard labor in surviving in a difficult situation, exploiting all what the place offered. Further, he not only made the native man Friday to accept him as master but also made him use his language and convert him into the Christianity. Many critics charged this novel with being an imperialistic novel because it contained an affirmation of capitalism and saw man as an economic animal. Robinson was considered by those critics as the first capitalist hero in English literature because he looked at everything in economic terms, produced more than he needed, kept from the ship a lot of things, expanded his power on the whole island, and eventually became rich. They pointed out that when Robinson managed to go on the board, the ship which had been carried within a reaching distance, he also kept some money, which of course was of no use on a desert land. सो इस वीडियो को कंटिन्यू देखने के लिए आप ऊपर आई बटन पर क्लिक करके सेकंड पार्ट को देख सकते हैं. थैंक्स फॉर वॉचिंग.